Apologies in advance for the setup. I'm having to do this in my car because there's some renovation work going on in my house today. Have you ever screamed? Have you ever heard a song with screaming? What did it sound like? Was it a raspy yell or a ravenous growl? These sounds have often been seen as scary, and the music it is featured in is often labeled under umbrella terms such as screamo. You may have often wondered how someone is able to produce these sounds if you tried to replicate them yourself. I wondered the same things myself as I tried to replicate them. As my music taste got heavier and heavier, I was so intrigued by them that I took up to learning how to perform them. I found a wealth of information and complications along the way, but eventually I learned how to do them, and now I play in a band where I perform them. I will now share that knowledge with my audience. In order to sing, let alone speak, one must exhale or inhale air through the vocal folds. Inhaling and exhaling can produce different types of vocals. The most common type of vocal, and often the simplest employed, is fry vocals. These vocals are performed using vocal fry, which happens when the vocal cords come together and allow air to slip through the barely open cords. During fry vocals, the ventricular folds, also known as the false cords, which are located just above the actual vocal folds, will come together. So the standard chords will be open as if one is singing, while the false chords will come together and produce that same vocal fry sound. Fry vocals can be used for high or mid-pitched screams or yells, or for low-pitched growls, which can be achieved using mouth and tongue manipulations, like this. Yeah! 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 Different mouth shapes, different tongue manipulations. They are often the most recommended vocal technique for aspiring extreme vocalists. False chord vocals are a name given to louder, more yell-driven fry vocals due to their increased reliance on the false chords for them to be employed. Another technique is known as inhale vocals, or inhales, where the vocalist will constrict the false chords while inhaling air, creating a deeper, airy, and louder sound. Like this. Notice the sound difference. Vocalists will also use different mouth movements to achieve different sounds and pitches, which are aided by the different positions of the vocal tract, which is the vocal cords up to the mouth. According to a 2012 spectrographic analysis of vocal techniques conducted by McGill University of Montreal, vocalists will either lengthen or compress their vocal tract with mouth movements, with smaller lips enabling a lower pitch noise, and wider open lips enabling a higher pitch noise. Yeah! Performance of these vocals with proper technique is imperative to not only sustain a singing voice, but also to sustain one's general throat health. Muscle strain, laryngospasms, and development of nodes, cysts, and polyps are all injuries that one can sustain from improper technique. Pushing air from one's lungs using the diaphragm, often referred to as taking belly breaths, is the safest way to project a voice and to keep as much restriction off the throat. According to the 2017 document Death Metal Vocal/Throat Analysis, vocalists are often urged to drink lukewarm water, tea, and other remedies to enable muscle movement, to coat the cords, and to care for them. In my personal experience, room temperature water is what I frequent the most due to ease of accessibility. It's also refreshing. Just like standard singing, warm up prior to performance and practice is also vital for chord upkeep and refining technique. Singing has many types with many layers. With melodic singing, there are multiple different techniques and styles, and though screaming vocals are atonal, the same applies to them as well. Music in both instrumentals and vocalization takes practice, refinement, and personal dedication to compose and perform with skill and precision, especially when one could possibly damage their health while doing so. Thank you.